Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel, Made to Order a la Orden. I'm Chef Z, and I'm going to be showing you how to make traditional Hispanic foods as well as how to Hispanicize your everyday meals. I love infusing the flavors of my Caribbean culture, and I want to show you guys how to do the same. I want to share with you the magic that is Dominican and Cuban foods. However, before we start making my favorite meals, I want to take it back to basics and make sofrito, which is the foundation to many Hispanic Caribbean dishes. Trust me when I tell you that it's a game changer. For more details on this recipe and other recipes that you'll see on my channel, visit my website, chefzcooks.com, or see the description box below. Y ahora vamos a comenzar. Let's get started. Sofrito is herbaceous, fresh, and flavorful, and it's a seasoning base that you can use to marinate your meat, fish, vegetables, and even rice. There are many different versions to sofritos, so no two sofritos taste alike. And for today, I'm keeping it fairly traditional, so as a result, we're gonna need some cilantro and culantro, and they're cousins of each other, but I'm gonna go into the nuances between them a little bit later. We're gonna need some green peppers, some red peppers, orange peppers, yellow peppers, basically a bunch of peppers because what we're looking for here is that vibrant color. We're also gonna need a Cubanelle pepper, which may be labeled as an Italian frying pepper in your local grocery store. We're also gonna use some white onions, some red onions, and a ton of garlic because the more the merrier. We'll season it with some oregano, comino, which is Cuban, a powdered bouillon cube or a regular bouillon cube, whichever one you have is fine, and some naranja agria, which is bitter orange juice. Lime juice and lemon juice, whichever one you have, those would work just as well. The only thing missing here are ajicitos, which are little peppers. And according to my homie at the grocery stores, these ajicitos are held up in customs. Ugh, I hate that. However, as soon as they come back in stock, I'll recreate this video and I'll show you a different version of sofrito. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start rough chopping all of our ingredients. So before we rough chop all of our ingredients, I actually wanted to give you guys 3 tips that have helped me become a better cook. When I rough chop my onion, I like to cut it in half and then cut the ends off, just like this. Because now, what I can do is take off that first layer off really easily. And then I like to cut it into thirds and give it one cut down the center. And there you have a simple rough chop. Now, when it comes to garlic, you see that it has this little exterior. So I like to give it a quick whack. And look at that. It comes off very easily. Now, I mentioned earlier that we're using culantro and cilantro and that they're cousins, but slightly different. So culantro is flat with spiny little edges, and it's slightly more aromatic than cilantro and has a little bit more of a potent taste, if you ask me, in my opinion. And then you have cilantro, which is, if I can get a few pieces, it's a little floury, and you know, if you're in the rush in the grocery store, you can very easily mistake this for parsley. So my suggestion to you is that you give it just a quick whiff and then you won't mistake it and you'll know, because cilantro has a very distinct smell. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rough chop the ingredients and I'm going to blend as we go. I'm using a food processor, but if you have a blender, you can go ahead and use that as well, and it works just as fine. Our sofrito is nice and blended, so now it's time to add our seasonings. And I have here a tablespoon of oregano, a fourth of a teaspoon of cumin because a little bit does go a long way, a teaspoon of powdered bouillon cube, and a tablespoon and a half of naranja agria. Sofrito just smells like a fresh garden. Now imagine what this is gonna do to the food that you start to cook with. Now don't worry, I have you guys covered and I have some amazing recipes lined up for you guys. When it comes to storing your sofrito, I personally like to use a glass container. Sorry, I made a mess. But if you have some Tupperware, that will also work. And you can put this in your refrigerator for about 2 weeks to a month. And if you make too much, just like I did, you can put it in the freezer. And the best part about it is that you don't even have to defrost it before you cook with it. You can just warm up a pot with a little bit of oil and then throw some sofrito in there and boom, there you go. So look at that. I got this lined up to the very rim, and now I'm just gonna store that baby and I can't wait to use it. Look at that. Guys, thank you so much for watching Made to Order a la Orden. Don't forget to like my video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on social media. For more details on this recipe and others that you'll see on my channel, visit my website, chefzcooks.com, or see the description box below. Until next time, I'm Chef Z, y buen provecho.